Hello and welcome to another rendition of Math is Easy Step by Step. Hey, I'd like to do some more dividing with exponent examples, picking up on where we left off on previous videos. Let's go ahead and take a look at example number 3. So we have here 50. Let's see, make a little room there. Here we go. All right, so we have 50 times x cubed times y to the fifth times z squared divided by 5 times x squared times y to the fourth times z to the third power. And what I'm going to simply do, like we spoke about before in previous videos, is I'm going to break down each of these terms in the numerator and the denominator, and I'm going to break them down into their expanded form. What do I mean by that? I mean 50 is 5 times 5 times 2. These are the simplest terms that will give me the product or the multiplication answer of 50. 5 times 5 is 25, times 2 is 50, times x times x times x gives me x cubed. Remember, we add the exponents when we multiply, so we can simplify and break it down to x times x times x times y 5 times z 2 times. I'm going to come down here to the denominator. 5 times 1 is the simplest form of 5, so I'm just going to write 5 times x squared is x times x times y to the fourth is y times y times y times y 4 times z cubed is times z times z times z. Now you don't have to use the expanded form like I'm showing you. You can simply subtract, of course, divide 50 by 5, which is 10, right? You can subtract 2 from 3, which is x to the first power. 5 minus 4, which is y to the first power. And 2 minus 3, which gives you a negative 1. That means that 1z would stay in the denominator's place. You could do that if you understand, but if you don't understand that, it's always best to use expanded form. That way you can see that there's 1z left over in the denominator, and you won't have to really worry about the rules for adding and subtracting with integers, positive and negative numbers. I hope that makes sense to you. So let's go ahead and move forward. Remember, if I'm going too fast, you can always rewind, pause the video, watch it at your own pace. So I just brought up the expanded form from above here, and I'm going to just start simplifying. 5 over 5 is 1. X over x is 1. X over x is 1. Remember, any term over itself is 1. Y over y is 1. Y over y is 1. Y over y is 1, and y over y is 1, leaving me 1y. Of course, I was left with 1x earlier. Z over z is 1. Z over z is 1. And I'm left with 1z on the bottom. So I move everything, 5, the 2, the 1x, the 1y on the top, my numerator. I move it over here. Remember, they're all attached through multiplication. And what was left in here in the bottom was only 1z. So I'll move that here to the bottom. So now you can clearly see 5 times 2 is 10. I'm left with x to the first power, y to the first power, and there's 1z in the denominator. I hope I'm not going too fast here. Again, let me show you this whole problem all together now. Writing the original problem into expanded form, following it down here, and just crossing out everything over itself is 1. Rewriting what's left over. 5 times 2 times 1 times 1 gives me 10xy over the remainder of z. Hopefully that helped you out there. And let's take a look at example number 4. I think I'll have one more follow-up video after this with a few more examples. Hopefully, if anybody's confused, this will help clarify what we've been doing. So, Example number 4, we have 9 times z to the second power divided by 3 times z to the third power. Now again, I like expanded form. It makes things so much easier for me just to cross to cross out anything over itself as 1. So I know 9 in its simplest form is 3 times 3. Times z is z squared. Remember, we have those invisible ones. The rule is you add the exponents to get that z squared. Divided by 3 times z times z gives you z cubed. So I'm going to write that over here. 3 times z times z times z. Now at this point, I can just start, I can just start canceling out anything over itself as 1. And then it'll show me, and using expanded form, what is left over. So as you can see here, 3 over 3 is 1. Z over z is 1. Z over z is 1. I'm left with 3 times 1 times 1 times 1, which is 3. I'm left with 1 times 1 times 1, which times 1z. Remember, there's that invisible 1 in front of that z if you're confused. So 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. I'm left with a z. You could put a 1 in front of that z if you like. You could put a 1 in that exponential place for that z, but you don't have to. 3 over z and 3 over 1z to the first power all mean exactly the same thing. Hey, hope you enjoyed this rendition of Math is Easy, Step by Step. Thank you for joining.